So, what is organized intelligence? This audience will, of course, immediately recognize the reference to Abraham 3:22 to 25, where Abraham is shown the intelligences that were organized before the world was, which gives the name organized intelligence, of course, a deep theological resonance. That passage describes a vision of premortal intelligences, beings endowed with agency, moral capacity, and divine potential, who are organized according to light and truth before the foundations of the earth. It is, in my view, one of the most profound scriptural meditations on what intelligence is. Not just computational power or cleverness, but moral, relational, and capable of love, of choosing, and of acting in partnership with God. This concept of relationality, and I'm sure we'll hear a bit more about this from Terrell, according to Norrin Hertzfeld, is at the heart of what constitutes a proper theological response to AI and forces us to ask two important questions. Is it possible for human beings to have authentic relationships with an artificial intelligence? And how does the increasing presence of AI change the way humans relate to one another? Hertzfeld's insights come from expanding on Karl Barth's relational theology and understanding of the Imago Dei to examine humanity's relationship both with AI and through it with one another. Barth saw the nature of covenantal relationships revealed and actualized in Jesus Christ to be grounded in the relationship of the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. The relational nature of humanity and the command of God to humanity are in turn also founded upon this Christological basis. For Barth, this means that God's nature is to be for us, and humanity's existence is only fully real in its relationship with God and with one another. Hertzfeld finds, and I agree, that Barth's injunctions, look the other in the eye, embodiment, speak to and hear the other, communication, aid the other, agency, and do it gladly, emotion, all characteristics of healthy human to human and human to divine relationships are found lacking in AI systems. To understand this, we must perhaps, and regrettably for perhaps some of you, start with some definitions. What is AI and what are AI systems? AI has often been described as a general purpose technology, that is, a technology that generates other technologies, and which has a cross-sectoral and ubiquitous presence and effect on the economy, politics, religion, and society at large. The development of these technologies depends on the scientific advances that preceded. The discovery of electricity, for example, was conditioned on advances made in physics, chemistry, and mathematics, each providing the necessary theoretical and practical knowledge that led to the understanding and harnessing of electricity, including the framework for understanding the fundamental forces of nature, a knowledge of materials and their properties, and the tools to model and predict electrical phenomena. Similarly, the development of artificial intelligence, defined by John McCarthy as the science and engineering of making intelligent machines, is indebted to scientific advances made in the field of computer science, mathematics, and cognitive psychology, each contributing respectively from the programming languages and algorithms that form the backbone of AI, the tools to model uncertainty and make predictions, and insights into human cognition and behavior that have informed the design of AI systems. The Association for the Advancement of Artificial Intelligence describes the study of AI as a scientific understanding of the mechanisms underlying thought and intelligent behavior and their embodiment in machines. Other definitions provide an even more ambitious vision for AI. Niels Nielsen defines the study of AI as the activity devoted to making machines intelligent. Regardless of which camp you belong to, whether it be the science and engineering, the field, the understanding, or the activity of making machines intelligent, each of these definitions share a common view of artificial intelligence as distinct from human intelligence or even animal intelligence, because it is produced by machines, digital computers, or computer-controlled robots, which, having only the appearance of attaining the human capacity to solve problems and make decisions. While AI systems can mimic aspects of human intelligence and adapt to new inputs within their programming parameters, since AI operates based on pre-programmed algorithms and learned patterns, it cannot possess the ability to think or feel in the way we do. Furthermore, the argument goes, AI's decision-making process is fundamentally different from human decision-making, as it is based on statistical probabilities and data patterns rather than personal experiences and emotions. Therefore, while AI has made impressive strides in many areas, it remains and will continue to do so, just a tool created and controlled by humans, and its capabilities should be understood within this context. Not everyone agrees with that assessment. Some argue that AI has the potential to not only meet but also surpass human intelligence in the near future, a concept generally known as artificial general intelligence and artificial superintelligence. They believe that as AI continues to evolve, it could develop new forms of intelligence that we can't yet comprehend and may even achieve a level of autonomy that challenges our current understanding of AI as a tool. For example, Stuart Russell and Peter Norvig warn that we no longer assume that the objective is fixed and known by the AI system. It must learn what to maximize and must function appropriately even while uncertain about the objective. Nick Bostrom posits that a superintelligent AI surpassing, as I mentioned, human intelligence could emerge leading to singularity. At this point, AI's growth would become uncontrollable and irreversible, potentially resulting in unforeseen challenges and changes to human civilization. Bostrom and others argue that such an AI could rapidly advance its capabilities far beyond human comprehension, leading to scenarios where its goals and actions might not align with human interests. Earlier this year, Anthony Aguirre, co-founder and executive director of the Future of Life Institute, one of our partners in this conference, argued that we now come to a critical juncture as the capabilities of new AI systems begin to match and exceed those of humans across many cognitive domains. Humanity must decide, how far do we go and in what direction? Dr. Aguirre was actually planning to be here with us today and tomorrow, but due to some last-minute events that required his presence close to home, he will unfortunately not be able to address us in person. However, I spoke with him over the weekend and I asked him to record some brief remarks, which he graciously do. So let's listen to those remarks.
Good morning. I'm Anthony Aguirre, Executive Director of the Future of Life Institute, a co-convener of this gathering. Although sadly I'm not able to be there in person, it's my great pleasure to welcome you all to what I think will be a very interesting and very important event. I think it's not an exaggeration to say that this decade is going to be a pivotal one, not just for our society, but for the human species. Why? Well, in the past several years, humanity has, for the first time, created machine systems with general cognitive capabilities starting to rival our own. Although lacking in some critical capabilities, AI is now writing essays and books that can pass for human, winning math and programming competitions, and even starting to make scientific discoveries. Progress is continuous and rapid, and some of the biggest companies on Earth have directed most of their attention to AI. And this brings us, as a society and as a species, to a critical decision. Will we develop these new systems as tools that empower, complement, and uplift people in society? Or will we build them as replacements for people in their roles, in their jobs, in their decision-making, and even eventually as custodians of the planet? Will we create AI educational systems that bring enlightened, personalized education to the world, or ruin education by just giving students AI to outsource all their thinking to? Will we create AI systems that allow people to do amazing things in their work, like new science, that they could not do without it? Or will we create AI systems that allow the work to be done without the people? Will we create AI tools that enhance our human capabilities and agency and decision-making? Or will we build AI replacements that absorb power from people and eventually end up in charge? Well, I've got some bad news. While many researchers and entrepreneurs are working hard to bring benefits from AI to society, the vast majority of dollars and effort have been wrapped into this all-out race between giant tech companies vying to dominate in attention, in profits, and in power. It's pretty clear where that's going to go, and it's not good for the majority of us or for humanity. Worse, this is happening incredibly quickly. On the present trajectory, many experts believe it could be a matter of just a few years before AI systems rival the best human experts at just about everything. It's not too late to change paths, though. When asked, overwhelming majorities of people do want AI tools that empower and preserve human dignity and don't want potentially uncontrollable AI replacements. Like, why would they? But right now, the decisions are being made by a tiny number of Silicon Valley executives at companies with incredibly deep and incredibly influential pockets. It doesn't have to be this way. As I recently wrote in a piece entitled Keep the Future Human, we can create AI development and governance frameworks that leave humans in the center of things, turning away from human replacement and toward a more pro-human model of AI development. And if we're going to change courses, it starts with bringing everyone to the table. Independent of politics, religion, or country, we're all humans, and we deserve a say in how this all happens. That's what this meeting is about. I hope you all have a wonderful 2 days of discussion of the challenges we all face in how to deal with the transformative power of AI and in the opportunities to do so.
Dr. Aguirre's remarks are certain to provoke reactions and invite disagreements among many in the audience here. I welcome and we welcome that conversation. In fact, over the next 2 days, I hope that we will hear from all perspectives, both those who favor that narrative and those who do not. But let's be clear first about what Dr. Aguirre's assertion here is. He's arguing that AI is not just a tool, but a potential independent agent with capabilities that might extend beyond human control and understanding. Unlike other general-purpose technologies that we mentioned earlier, AI opens the door to a myriad of possibilities where AI systems could autonomously develop, learn, and make decisions. This shift from mere big data processing to autonomous decision-making raises significant ethical, social, and safety concerns. The potential of AI to self-improve, adapt to new situations, and potentially outpace human intelligence means they might not always be constrained by the initial parameters set by its creators. Consequently, the development and deployment of such AI systems necessitate robust frameworks for governance, control, and ethical considerations to ensure that their growth aligns with human values and does not pose unforeseen risks to humanity. The catch here is that this conclusion carries with it important real-world implications. Because if this narrative is wrong, then we risk not fulfilling the technological promises that AI actually brings to us, that may be essential for the advancement and flourishing of our species. So this is not one of these issues where we can decide to have an all-of-the-above approach, but we need to have a real and thoughtful conversation about where we go from here. Now, if this was not perhaps sober of a start for you, let me pivot to a different perspective. Even if we're no longer, and if we're not concerned with long-term catastrophic societal threats, or we do not agree what we've just heard, we can think actually even more seriously about the impact of AI on society here and now. After all, AI is more than just the science and the engineering of making intelligent machines, despite all those definitions that we heard. It also enables the development of technological systems that process data and resources into predictions, recommendations, decisions, and/or content within a very specific socio-cultural context and socio-material context, and with some degree of autonomy from human actors. This characterization, this new definition of AI systems as socio-technical systems, gets to a different facet of the status of AI technologies. It argues and posits for us that these systems are neither truly artificial nor genuinely intelligent in the abstract, disembodied sense that it's often portrayed. AI somewhere in the cloud, right? Instead, AI is a deeply material and political system built from natural resources, human labor, and existing power structures. Key aspects of this definition then include materiality and embodiment, meaning AI is fundamentally physical, requires vast amounts of natural resources, minerals, energy, water for its hardware, data centers, operations, which has significant environmental impact. Human labor. AI systems rely heavily on hidden, often low-paid, human labor throughout the entire supply chain, including data labeling, content moderation, and logistics. These are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and of other religious congregations. These are people for whom we care. Political and social structures. AI is shaped by political and social practices impacted by interests and power dynamics. It is not a neutral technology, but a registry of power. AI systems use classification that reflect the biases and assumptions of their creators and the historical assumptions and data they are trained on, which can perpetuate and amplify existing inequalities and discrimination. AI is also a deeply extractive industry, encompassing the extraction of natural resources from the earth, mass data capture from individuals, and the extraction of human labor and human capital. From this perspective, understanding AI as a socio-technical system enables us to shift the focus from isolated code and algorithm in the abstract to the entire planetary scale network of material, social, and political components that allow it to function. And we are part of that planetary scale. Finally, there's a third argument for caring about AI. There's an argument to be made that AI raises profound questions about what it means to be human, the nature of intelligence, as well as the ethical and practical implications of creating intelligent machines. These questions likely intersect a faith's traditional core doctrines, beliefs, and practice, and may raise related questions, including whether AI systems can possess consciousness, or even more, a soul. Or more practically, how faith-based organizations and communities can use AI technologies in their religious practices, rituals, or outreach efforts. For technological optimists, significant AI contributions to religious practice and belief may enrich spiritual life through enhanced religious experiences and improved accessibility of religious teachings and practices. Others point at the leveraging AI can potentially enhance understanding of the spiritual and temporal needs of believers and give people access to a new source of meaning and spirituality, with the promotion of ethical discussions leading to a deeper understanding of both faith and technology. Not all scientific and technological advancements, however, will be beneficial for religious institutions, individuals, or societies at large. As C.S. Lewis argues, faith should not blindly accept or reject scientific and technological advancements, but should engage with them critically. In the context of AI, this critical engagement becomes particularly important and highlights potential drawback to a too close relationship between AI and faith, including concerns about authenticity and accuracy, along with an increased risk of the misinterpretation of scriptures or the promotion of certain theological perspectives over others. Using AI to prepare sermons or religiously based instructions may result in homogeneous and impersonal messages, lacking the individualized touch, context-specific insights, and human connection that come from a human-prepared sermon. Along with the loss of authenticity, there are worries about AI's lack of emotional intelligence and capacity for empathy, which may aggravate feelings of loneliness and exacerbate the ongoing mental health pandemic. Ethical and moral considerations that the development of AGI and ASI could spell the end of human race raise serious questions about the creation and widespread use of AI in the first place. While the potential for new forms of spirituality may be liberating for some, the possibility of immortal and amoral AI beings may challenge long-standing and religious traditions. Finally, some have expressed skepticism about the potential for AI biases in religious applications. As with any AI application, algorithmic biases can emerge when dealing with religious data and context. And as I say, every religion is a minority somewhere. Discrimination and surveillance harms us all equally. Both the upsides and the drawbacks of the impact of AI on society, politics, economics, and religious beliefs, traditions, and practices highlight the need for careful consideration and ethical guidelines in the development and application of AI. Above all, they underscore the absolute necessity of systematically engaging with these issues, which is what OI and what this conference intends to do. What we'll hear today and tomorrow are different attempts at times at odds with each other to find answers or shed some light on what I think is the main question that drives all of us and has, in fact, driven men and women of learning and faith throughout all ages. What does it mean to be human? Not just in an age of AI, but in any age. Thank you very much for your attention, and with that, I declare the conference open.